Most people imagine dangerous viruses spreading through coughs, crowds, and hospital rooms. But hantavirus often starts somewhere much quieter. A dusty shed, a closed cabin, a garage corner, or mouse droppings no one noticed until cleanup begins. The danger is not just seeing rodents. The real danger can begin when contaminated dust enters the air and reaches your lungs. So how do rodents actually spread hantavirus to humans? This video breaks down how rodents spread hantavirus using verified information from the CDC, WHO, and public health guidance. We'll cover which rodents carry hantaviruses, how urine droppings and saliva become dangerous, why sweeping or vacuuming can increase exposure, and what safe prevention actually looks like. This is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. If you have health concerns, consult a qualified healthcare professional. Hantaviruses are carried primarily by rodents such as mice and rats. These animals are called natural reservoirs because the virus can live and circulate in them without needing humans to continue spreading. Different hantavirus strains are linked to different rodent species. In North America, the deer mouse is the main carrier associated with sin nombre virus, which is the most common cause of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome in the United States. Other rodents can carry other hantaviruses in different regions. The important point is that humans are usually accidental hosts. We are not the normal home for the virus. The virus reaches humans when rodent activity overlaps with human spaces. That overlap can happen in cabins, barns, sheds, garages, storage rooms, farms, campsites, and rural buildings. Rodents may leave behind urine droppings, saliva, nesting material, and contaminated dust long after the mouse is gone. The contamination may still be sitting in the environment, waiting to be disturbed. The most important way people get hantavirus is by breathing in the virus. When infected rodent urine droppings or saliva dry out, tiny particles can become mixed with dust. If that dust is disturbed, the particles can float into the air. This is called aerosolization. A person nearby can then inhale those particles into the lungs. This is why a space can become risky even when no rodent is visible at that moment. The exposure can come from what the rodent left behind. Think about opening an old shed after months of no cleaning. Light comes through the doorway, dust lifts from the floor, boxes are moved, a broom sweeps the corner, and particles that were settled on surfaces suddenly become airborne. That is the key science behind hantavirus exposure. The danger is not usually a dramatic animal bite. It is invisible, contaminated dust entering the respiratory system. One of the most important public health warnings is simple. Do not dry sweep or vacuum rodent droppings, urine, or nesting material. The reason is not because cleaning is bad. The reason is that dry cleaning can launch contaminated particles into the air. A broom can stir up dust. A vacuum can pull particles through airflow and spread them around the room. This is why the CDC recommends wet cleaning methods instead. Spray the droppings and contaminated area with a disinfectant or bleach solution until very wet. Let it soak for the recommended time, then wipe it up with paper towels while wearing gloves. The goal is to keep particles from becoming airborne. Wet material is less likely to float into the air than dry dust. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings about hantavirus prevention. People think removing droppings quickly is the priority, but removing them the wrong way may increase exposure. Inhalation is the primary route, but it is not the only possible exposure. People can also be exposed if infected rodent urine droppings or saliva get into broken skin or into the eyes, nose, or mouth. Rodent bites can also spread hantavirus, but that is considered rare. Handling live rodents, cleaning cages, managing pet rodents, doing pest control work, or working in areas with heavy rodent activity may increase exposure risk. People who work in farming, forestry, pest control, animal care, field biology, construction, or military field settings may face higher risk depending on the environment. But for many ordinary people, the risk scenario is much simpler. A closed space, rodent signs, dust, poor ventilation, and unsafe cleanup. That combination is what turns a small, hidden rodent problem into a possible health risk. Enclosed and poorly ventilated spaces matter because air does not move out quickly. In a well-ventilated outdoor area, particles may disperse more easily. But inside a cabin, shed, barn, crawl space, garage, or storage room, contaminated dust can remain concentrated when someone enters and starts moving objects or cleaning. The air can fill with particles before they realize there is a problem. This is why public health guidance often focuses on ventilating closed spaces before cleanup. Opening doors and windows when appropriate and leaving the space to air out can reduce risk. The setting also matters because rodents often seek shelter in quiet, undisturbed areas. That means places people rarely inspect may be the exact places where droppings and nesting material accumulate. The more time contamination has to build up, the more careful the cleanup needs to be. The best protection against hantavirus is reducing contact with rodents and cleaning contaminated areas safely. Prevention starts with keeping rodents out. Seal holes, gaps, and cracks where mice can enter. Store food in rodent-proof containers. Remove trash clutter and nesting material. Keep outdoor areas around buildings cleaner and reduce places where rodents can hide. If rodent droppings are found, do not panic, but do not sweep them dry. Put on gloves. Ventilate the area when appropriate. Wet the droppings and surrounding area with disinfectant. Let it sit. Then wipe it up and dispose of the waste safely. The goal is simple. Keep contaminated material wet, control dust, avoid direct contact, and reduce future rodent entry. If someone develops fever, muscle aches, fatigue, and later breathing problems after possible rodent exposure, they should contact a healthcare provider and mention that exposure. The important balance is this hantavirus is rare. Most people who see a mouse will not get sick, but the disease can be severe when infection does happen. That means awareness matters. The risk is not just whether rodents exist somewhere nearby. The real risk comes from contact with infected rodent waste, especially when contaminated dust becomes airborne. This is why health agencies focus so heavily on prevention and safe cleanup. Hantavirus is not spread the same way as common respiratory viruses. It is mostly an environmental exposure problem, and environmental risks can often be reduced with the right steps. The smartest response is not fear. It is understanding the pathway from rodents to dust to lungs and breaking that pathway before exposure happens. Key takeaways: rodents spread hantavirus through urine droppings and saliva. The main risk is breathing contaminated dust. After rodent waste is disturbed, dry sweeping or vacuuming can increase exposure. So wet disinfection is safer. Hantavirus is rare, but severe cases can become life-threatening. Which topic should we cover? Next, let me know in the comments.